So today's Saturday and I'm kind of running out of time to make a video, so I thought I'd come in the house and show you we have some invaders. So there's the white dog. She's taking over Skitty's spot, and I really think she's probably an older dog. And then this one just made herself at home on the couch, or the bed I should say. Of course, we've put this Afghan down so she doesn't get the bed all terribly dirty. We've got flea collars on them, and they seem to be working. We're not getting fleas in the house, and their scratching and itching is kind of going away, so getting better. A lot of her hair has come back. I mean, well, all of it except around the ears here. A couple spots, but they look a lot better. Those were raw earlier. And then when we come down here, she's still pretty thin on the hair. Almost looks like a pig. Not obese, but like not a lot of hair. Reminds me of a pig hair. So, and they tell you when they need to go outside. She goes outside quite frequently, you know, a few times a day. But this one, we're lucky to get her to go outside twice. But when she needs to go, she jumps down off the bed and walks over to the door. So they obviously have been indoors before, so they're kind of fun to have around. You know, I really thought that she would take up way too much room on the bed, but she seems to understand what her spot is, and if I move my legs and I kick into her, she moves, she gets out of the way. So kind of actually seems like she takes less room than a cat, because the cat just wouldn't move. If she was comfortable, you were just going to have to deal with it. And of course the cat sometimes would wonder, you know, what's that thing moving underneath the blankets, and then start, you know, hitting it, you know, be your foot. So Carolyn really likes these dogs. She likes the brown one, obviously, quite a bit. And the white one is just kind of like the package deal. We got to take the white one, or we're going to take the brown one. And it's pretty obvious that they're a team. I mean, they don't agree with much. When they're eating, they're both growling at each other. The white one doesn't really like the brown one in the house near her. But the brown one can't really live without her. It's pretty obvious. The brown one, you know, we let him out one night. And maybe it was last night. I don't know. We let him out, and just so they could go to the bathroom. And it was taking the white one longer to get finished up than the brown one. The brown one came over here and wouldn't budge. You know, Carolyn's trying to call her into the house, and she just wouldn't budge. So, you know, several minutes later, the white one finally showed up, and then walked down the bridge here. Ended up the brown one started into the house first, and then looked behind just to make sure the white one was still around. So, and that kind of makes sense how that all turned out, because when the brown one showed up, I told you this when she showed up, she would show up every other day. She would come here, eat, sleep most of the day, and then leave at the night after I went to bed, and then wouldn't come back for another, you know, she'd skip an entire day. So, and then eventually the white one showed up, and that's when things got more comfortable for the brown one. They both started staying. Of course, they would leave at night, but then they would come back, and then one morning I got up 4:30, and the white one was, you could hear him barking down on the hill at other dogs, and the white one showed up. And I was trying to get the white one to come, but she kept looking back and looking back and looking back. So eventually the brown one showed up, and then they both showed up at the same time. So, you know, they're partners in crime. Although, like I said, we do need to watch them, because I don't know if they would get in a fight over the tiny house. You know, there's just not a lot of room for them, so got to watch them. And today, the brown one wouldn't come into the house because the white one was in front of the door, basically. So Carolyn was trying to scoot the white one out of the way, out of the visual range of the brown one, and everything was fine. But as soon as the brown one came in, there was a roar, and it startled Carolyn. Of course, you know, she's worried she's going to get bit. And I tried to relax Carolyn. You're not. It's unlikely you're going to get bit. I don't think she was mad at. Well, Carolyn wasn't even touching her when she started growling. So I don't think she's going to get bit. I think that when Carolyn even said she thought it was an aggression towards the brown dog. But as long as the brown dog's on the bed and there's no food around, they're both okay. I gave them both a hot dog. They're picky eaters. They weren't picky eaters, but they have turned into picky eaters. But anyway, this morning I gave them both a hot dog. And both of them turned it down. They just dropped it on the ground. Well, brown on the bed, and the white one dropped it on the floor. And they were both upset with each other, just growling at each other, like, don't steal my food. But they weren't eating the food, so it's kind of funny how it all works out. But I'm glad Carolyn likes them. I really am. I miss the cat a lot, but it really does my heart good that Carolyn is really enjoying those dogs. And, you know, Carolyn sees them as an abused dog and that they need to, and I was looking this up, that brown dog may never recover. It seems like the white dog is okay. She just wants to sleep all day, she wants to sleep all night, go to potty a few times and eat. That's basically all she wants out of life. I think she's old, is my point. And she just wants to live out her life. But that brown dog is probably a little bit younger. And she is emotionally scarred. I didn't know dogs could be emotionally scarred, but I Googled it. It's a traumatic event. So imagine you have an owner you completely trust. You listen to, you do what he says, and then he dies. And you're outside. You don't get to come inside anymore. And it's hit or miss whether somebody comes and feeds you, and then all of a sudden they don't come and feed you, and now you're starving to death. You're out there trying to defend yourself. You're out there in the rain trying to find food. And so you're at your last few days left. I mean, I could tell it when she showed up that last day. I don't know. It's hard to explain the sequence of events, but there was a moment where she hadn't been around for a few weeks, and then she showed up, and she could barely move her legs. She was just shaking so bad. You could tell that she was just out of energy. So, you know, now you have all that trauma, and Google explained all this pretty well. She's just traumatized. And I know people are going to say, oh no, she'll recover, she'll recover, she'll recover. She actually may never recover to the point where she fully trusts anybody anymore. And I find that interesting. You know, when humans say they don't trust anybody anymore, it's more for dramatic effect, I think, than it is an actual true feeling. I mean, I don't trust people for the most part. I'm always cautious. But I still approach them. But how do you explain this? You get hurt, and so, you know, I don't know. I just don't feel like the trust issue is as real for humans as it is for this dog. I'm sure somebody's going to argue with me, but just bear with me. So the dog shows up, and she won't let you touch her. She won't let you feed her. When that dog first showed up, the very first time I was mowing grass, and she was way down on the end, and I almost ran over her. I didn't see her at first. And so I stopped, I walked all the way back, and I went and got a can of chicken. And she wouldn't have anything to do with me. I couldn't get the chicken to her, so I poured the chicken out on the ground across the street so I could finish mowing without her being scared and she could eat in peace. And she went over there and ate, but just would not trust that I was giving her food, so, you know, it had to be on her terms. Well, then, I don't know, a week or two later, after doing that for a while, she finally came up to me. I was able to dump it on the ground, and she walked up to me and started eating it. As I went to touch her or move or do anything, she would back away, very startled. So, you know that this is not a fake response to oh, I'm supposed to be untrusting, so I'm just not going to trust you. Stay away from me. You know, you kind of get that idea. But with the dog, I mean, there's no faking that. She isn't trying to fake it. She just really doesn't trust you. And so over time, you know, you get into patterns and you try to be nice. You never yell at the dog, ever. We've never yelled at these dogs. I mean, except when in a row, we'll say, get out of the road. And then they come walking off the road. But even when she got Carolyn got growled at, hey, 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 that's all we needed to say. So no yelling, no spanking or anything. So the trust is slowly building, but you can see that there's never going to, I just don't think there's ever going to be a full trust from the brown dog. You can pet the white dog and she doesn't stiffen up or get too anxious, too bad. I mean, she'll do a little, but if you touch that dog, the brown dog, too much, she stiffens up and she's looking and just very scared all the time. So I don't know if that'll ever go away. Google says it may never go away. I know there's going to be experts out there to tell me, oh yeah, it's going to go away, but I don't want to fool myself like I did with the cat when everybody was telling me the cat would be fine with the dog showing up, and the first time the dog accidentally walked in the house, she died a few days later. And, you know, of course you got commenters, that seems awful coincidental, you know, like I did something to the cat. You know, the cat was already sick and all summer, and the dog just made it worse. So, you know, we're just gonna, I don't suspect they'll live a lot longer. I think the white dog's pretty old. And these dogs, you know, their breed is probably 13 years, so we're not expecting a lot from them. But they do give Carolyn a lot of comfort. She really likes them a lot, so that's pretty amazing. See, she came out. We got to make sure she doesn't get in the road. But yeah, see, she does this little scratch thing. She doesn't do it until she comes outside, and then she does this little scratch thing. It's almost like it's a habit. So I got to make sure she doesn't go in the road. So, like I said, she'll come out several times a day and go over to the bathroom. She's I haven't seen her go, you know, number 2 or whatever you want to call it. Try to keep it family friendly here in a couple days. So I don't know if she would think she needs to go. This one tends to pass gas. Oh, they both came out. Look at that. Huh. That's interesting. I didn't see that one. That's different. Now she's going to roll in the grass. So I need to keep an eye on these guys so they don't get into the road. So I guess I'll jump off of here. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video over my other channel. I really appreciate it. Go check it out. Also, I've released a short today, so if you'll check that out, that'd be great too. So I hope I can inspire you to find some comfort in sadness so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.